Okay, now we're going to go over substitution, which means I don't have a graph. I'm going to actually substitute some equation in for another to help me solve. Again, with systems, my whole goal is to find out where they cross, if they cross. So, or intersect. If I look here, I have two equations. One is in our slope-intercept form, our standard, or our slope-intercept form, which is what we use all the time, and the other one is in standard form, where y is not by itself. Therefore, we're going to use substitution because we actually have one of these that is solved for a variable. Y equals 6x minus 11. So instead of 6x minus 11, I can put, or instead of y, I could put 6x minus 11, and instead of 6x minus 11, I could put y. When I have that equal sign, it means they're the same. So I am literally going to take the 6x minus 11 and fill it into my y on the second equation. So if I rewrite that, I'm going to have negative 2x minus 3, and I'm going to put it in parentheses because I'm putting all these down here. I'm going to have 6x minus 11 instead of y equals negative 7. Now, this is those multi-step equations. We've done a unit over these. We know how to solve this. I see distributive property first. So I'm going to do my 3 here. And that's not just any 3, that's a negative 3. So negative 3 times 6 is going to give me negative 18x's. Negative 3 times negative 11 is going to give me a positive 33. And I'll bring everything else down. Negative 2x and my negative 7. Now, if I look here, I think about combining like terms. I'm going to be able to combine these because they have x's. This does not. So if I combine those together, I'm going to get negative 20x's plus 33 equals negative 7. So I just brought that down and I brought that down. Now I've got a two-step equation. I'm going to get rid of this plus 33 first. So I'm going to minus 33 from both sides. Get those to cancel out. So I'm left with negative 20x equals negative 7 minus 33 is negative 40. And then, again, I'm multiplying. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing on both sides. So when I divide by negative 20, I'm left with x equals a positive 2. Now, the bad news about this is I'm not done. Again, I'm looking for the coordinates, like where they cross. So I know that it crosses at x equals 2, but I still need to find the y. Where does it cross at? So if I'm trying to find the y, going back to my equations, there is one where I can find the y, and it's the top one. All right, so I'm going to take what I've used, which was x is 2. I found that. I'll go back and fill it in this top one. You can fill it in the bottom if you want, but it's not going to be so easy. I'd have to give my x's the other side. It'd take a long time. So I'm actually going to fill it in this top one. So I'm going to take y equals 6x minus 11. And instead of x, I'm going to fill in 2. So I have y equals 6 times 2. That's not 62. Minus 11. So 6 times 2 is going to give me 12. When I minus 11 from 12, I'm left with just y equals 1. So I've got my x and I have my y. I write it in the form of a point. So these two lines cross at 2, 1. All right. Now let's try another one. Same thing. If I look here, the one that is in slope-intercept form is not the top one this time, it's the bottom one. They have y equals. Up here doesn't. So in place of y, the sub or the substitute that's going to come in place of y is going to be x minus 1. That's going to go right here. So if I've got, I rewrite this, 2x minus 3. I'm going to put parentheses because I'm going to be putting x minus 1 there. And then equals negative 1. So I'm just rewriting this whole thing, and instead of y, I just put this x minus 1. Again, do my distributive property. All right, so I'm distributing a negative 3. So negative 3 times x is negative 3x's. Negative 3 times negative 1 is a positive 3. I'm going to bring everything else down. 2x equals negative 1. Brought all that stuff down. Combine my like terms. 2x minus 3x is going to give me a negative 1x. Bring everything else down again. If you don't bring it down, it gets confusing. Now I'm trying to get x by itself, so I'm going to minus 3 from both sides. Cancel those out. I'd be left with -1, x equals -4. And I'm going to divide by -1 on both sides. So I'd be left with x equals a +4. Again, bad part is I did all this work and I'm not done. I just have the x so far. I still need the y. But I've just got to fill it back in. I'm not going to fill it back into the equation that doesn't have a y equals. I'm going to fill it back in down here. So if I filled that back in, it'd be y equals 4 minus 1. So what's 4 minus 1? 3. So I have y equals 3. So I put that as my other part of the point, and that's my final answer. These cross at 4, 3.